Hey guys, welcome to Revamp, the podcast, where we are revamping the way adults do life. I'm your host, Felicia Creighton.
And I'm your co-host, Andrea Creighton. Let's get into today's topic.
All right, so we are back in a different studio.
In a completely brand new space.
We are in Nashville this morning, and we are super excited to be doing...
I was trying to hold back and not say Nash Vegas. I don't know why I want to say this.
And I knew you were about to say that. That's why I said, let me try to clean this before you go into
Nashville.
So today we want to talk about holiday expectations. So how do we end 2024 off strong? I mean, for me, I know year after year, I'm so tired of leaving 2024 off, playing the same song in 25, cutting everybody off in 25, I'm so over that. So how do we break that cycle? We're irritated at the end of the year. We're looking at, like you talked about earlier, unmet goals that we have.
Right.
How do we end this year off strong? What are some things that we can do?
Well, yeah, I feel like as adults, this is the time of the year where we really do need to have vision for what does this end of the year look like.
Yes.
Of course, we understand in the Bible, it says that without vision, people perish.
Yes.
And that is what I think what you were kind of getting along on right before we started.
Yeah.
And that was, how do we end up at this place every
Yeah.
year? Right. So I think it would be really healthy for us to start this type of discussion where we're talking about how can we really reduce anxiety and stress?
Yeah. For me, it's like we're going into 25 or the next year. We're depleted financially unstable. We hate everyone. Our circle's small again, right? We're back to small circles. You're ready to divorce your spouse.
Right.
Your kids are getting on your nerves. And it's all because of what I believe we're going to get into at the end of this is that we do not have Christ at the center of our holidays. So
we say it.
We say
but,
we do.
It's just, I believe it's only in theory because we typically just have him like as an add-on, but he's truly not the center of this holiday.
He's there when we're eating.
Yeah.
Because we need to be praying over those meals, especially if we don't know who's cooking. So we're praying hard then. But other than that, it's like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And it comes from what we like to talk about, societal norms. So how do we ease holiday stress and pressure this year? How do we ease that? So I wanted to kind of talk about, and I know I want to start with you because what are some past instances where you felt like, and as a sister, I know them, but I want you just to kind of explain to them, what are some past instances of you like struggling during the holidays? What's an instance you can think of where it's like, oh my God, I knew at this moment I'm not doing this again this next year?
Oh, well, number one, I like to always say that I'm an empath at heart.
Yeah.
So I just have a huge heart. I love people being happy and really experiencing joy and things. And if I can play a part in that, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I think I got to this place as an adult where I had to balance empathy with capacity.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I have no more capacity. It is just one of me, and it is so many people. And also, you're trying to understand the needs that everyone has. And it's like, I can't meet them all.
Yeah.
And I got to this place where it's just like, I cannot meet everyone's need.
That's right.
It is draining me. And like, I was the same person that you just described as we started this podcast. By the end of the year, I'm done with everybody. Like, I don't want to see anybody. I felt like every person that you've given a gift to, they were ungrateful.
Yeah.
And I had to slow down and say, no, you're empathetic, but you also have been totally negating your capacity. We only have a certain amount of capacity to be able to give and to be able to love.
Yeah.
No matter what you imagine or you would like to do, you just don't have the capacity for it. So that was just like the cut it, limit for me and say, you got to stop this.
You always overextend. And one thing about you is you let it all build up and then you explode. And I'm like, we got to work on that. And I know you've done so great now. You're so beyond that season. But I just know it's like you literally build it all up. You do it all. And then the last second, you just literally crash.
It's like after the holidays where, some people would take that as an opportunity to rest.
Yeah.
I need rest after the holidays.
Because you've done it all.
Because I've done it all.
And then for me, I feel like with the holidays, I've always worked retail. So retail was my thing. Always in fashion. So I never really, for the last, I would say 8 or 9 years, I was never able to come home and spend holidays. Christmas was, sometimes I could get it, sometimes I couldn't. But mostly Thanksgiving, Christmas was always like eaten up. I had to work for Black Friday.
And you lived in different states.
And I lived in different states, so I couldn't just come home for that day. And so I would just get into my woe is me, self-pity, like, I just can't be with my family. And I would go, I remember when I lived in Los Angeles, I'm like, I'm gonna go eat a Big Mac at McDonald's. And girlfriends of mine
Why
would,
do we keep talking about Big Macs and Whoppers?
I know, but I'm just telling
Like,
you,
you were
it's,
eating a Big Mac?
I was. I would just, it was the only thing open. You got to realize it was Thanksgiving Day.
I guess.
And so but it's true. I mean, this was my life years ago. And so people would be like, no, come to my family's dinner and come to my family's dinner. And I'm like, no, I just want to feel it. I'm lonely for the holidays. And it's like, oh my God. And I wasted so many. It's like, if I would have just tapped into, this is just this is your calling for this season.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't get a Thanksgiving, but it's okay. But it was what? Societal pressure, societal norms saying you have to eat with your family on Thanksgiving. And if you don't, you should feel sad because you're not home for the holidays. That's every movie, home for the holidays and all
every movie.
Hallmark movies. And, and then adding in the pressures of you don't have like a man to go to the so it was just like, woe is me for year after year after year. And I would literally gear up to be depressed. So I knew, like, as November
I think a lot of people are actually experiencing that. More people that, if they want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And I think they may be tagging on a certain name for it. Like, it just happens around this season.
Yeah.
But I think it's as a man thinks.
In his heart.
So is he. So it's just like you're gearing up. You're setting an expectation to be sad or to be lonely around that season instead of saying, hey, this is what I have right now. How can I make the best of what I have in this season?
That's good. And so I think that was me, and I had to kind of take a stand in that. Now, we're not going to be depressed for Thanksgiving if I can't make it. We're not going to be depressed for Christmas if I can't make it. I realize, because again, this is me tapping into my relationship with Christ. I'm saying, what do you have me? What's my assignment this season? Hey, Valicia, it's not going to be here. I have you here ministering to these people for this reason. And it may not even be just I'm a retail worker. What if he has you on assignment for anything during the holiday season? Are you open to that? Or does society have you so bogged down with an idea during this time frame that you can't even work? I mean, some people take off days during, it's like, I got to be, it's like, for what?
For what? You know what? I think you're making a good point. And I'm also reminded of a live stream that we did around Thanksgiving, right? And here it is. It's making sure that you're evaluating those triggers.
Yeah.
So that you can properly say no to the things that are bringing on the stress and anxiety, and then saying yes to what actually brings the joy, the gratefulness. Because think about, what are these holidays really? I mean, we say all of these words around them: peace, joy, gratefulness, Thanksgiving. So can we actually get back to that as those things as the goal?
Yeah.
And then now I can properly say, this will help me to identify what can I say yes to, and then what should I say no to.
Yeah.
Because I'm so self-aware. This triggers me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go down that path.
Yeah. And so leading into that, my biggest thing is, I think where we get a lot of irritation from and where we struggle with around the holiday season is saying no. To holiday parties, holiday functions, especially right now. If I get on Instagram one more time and see another Friendsgiving, it's like, I can't imagine how many times you want to say no, but because you feel like, I'm going to be a bad friend, or this and that, I can't say no. So how does one go about, or what would you suggest someone saying, like, I'm not really digging this? Maybe God has you in a season of saving this year with your family, or just maybe you're a single mom and it's like, and me and my kids, and it's like, we're saving this year. We're not really indulging in all that. How do you say no to things when it's like, I don't want to go? Maybe God is telling me halt on that, but it's like, I've done it for years. And people are like, I expect you to do this. This is where we're getting the holiday expectations. Because it's like, I expect you to be here because you're supposed to be my friend. But it's like, but God's leading me down a different path this year during the holidays. So how do you help someone to say, like, or what would you tell them?
Oh, gosh, it's so many things that are popping in my head as you're asking me this question, because this is an area that I have actually had to grow in specifically, and that is saying no. Number one, it was saying no in a kind way.
Yeah.
And I had to figure that out for my own self, because some people can just flat out say nope, and my no is no, and then take it or leave it, and I don't care. Well, I do care, because I'm an empath at heart.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had to learn how to say no nicely, or say no in a kind way. And that was, maybe say something about the function, the event. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I love that for you. Da 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 da. Now I'm getting to the sandwich in between, which is unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend. Hey, I wish I could be, I don't have the capacity. Whatever I feel most authentically, connected to.
Yeah.
And then at the end, wrap it up with something like, hey, I can't wait to see pictures.
Yeah.
I'll have to call you next week and get in touch with you to figure out how everything went.
Yeah.
Or I'll be praying for blah, blah, blah. I know it'll be a great time.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm saying no. So that was like one of the first things I had to learn. And then the second thing was I began to center my whole life around this is not my life.
Yeah.
I really am checking in with God on what I'm saying yes and no to.
Yeah.
I'm just stewarding the time and the life that he's given me.
Yeah.
But I'm just checking in with him and say, like, do I have a peace about this?
Yeah.
And I think that when you center your life in that way, and this is something that your friends and family understand, like, hey, they are serious about living life this way,
That's right.
then it's not a surprise when you do say no, because they know, hey, listen, she just doesn't have a peace about it, or she doesn't have the capacity, she doesn't have the green light, she's already prayed about it. And it takes a lot of that pressure off of people being like, oh, I wonder what they're going to say if I don't do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Show up for people in different ways and in different places so that when they ask you, something and you have to say no, it's not like you are so disappointing.
Yeah.
I just don't have it right now.
And I think on the other side, because here's the other person receiving the information, it's always being able to seek to understand versus always being understood.
Right.
So I need to seek to understand this individual, where they're coming from, versus I can't believe you're not showing up. So we have to question ourselves, why are we upset?
And
that
why
they
can't you
make
have
it?
your party without certain people?
Yeah.
Like, if this is your party, like I think I'm just at this place as an adult that if I want to do something, I'm going to do it.
That's right.
If I invite you and you cannot go,
Yeah.
I'm still going to do what I
Because
said
my
I'm going
fun
to
is
do.
not contingent upon you being there or not. And
I think
that's where
this is healthy discussion to have.
And this is where I think that the irritation comes from the first parties and the inviter. I'm saying, why aren't you coming? But it's because my fun is contingent upon you being there.
And nobody
we
wants
have
to talk
check
about that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about that, right? Because it's just like, why is it that this person cannot say no?
Yeah.
I say this all the time.
Yeah.
Tell someone no, and you're going to really see where they stand with you.
Bingo. That's
how
good.
they react and from you saying no,
Yeah.
that tells you everything I need to know about someone. The lady that does my eyebrows, we talk about this all the time, about high maintenance people.
Whew.
Goodness, it's
Mercy.
like it takes too much to maintain this relationship, friendship,
does.
what connection.
You're drained.
I'm drained because I literally cannot say no. So now we're just walking on eggshells.
That's right.
Those high maintenance people, as an adult, for me, I just cannot be surrounded by it because
That's
it's
right.
like I just don't need it.
Yeah.
I need people that are emotionally intelligent enough that if I have to say no, it's like, hey, no problem, we'll get it next time.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like I'll never invite you again because you said no to this.
Yeah.
It's unrealistic for adults.
So I
you
think
know.
on one side, it's checking, why am I irritated that they're saying no? So let's dig deep there. And then the other side is digging deep as to why I feel like I can't say no. And it's because normally that reaction, more people who struggle saying no are more empaths like you are, and they're saying, I would rather avoid this. But in the end, you feel drained. You feel upset.
Guess
So,
what? The Bible doesn't lie when it says that.
Yeah.
It says that the fear of man is a
Yeah.
snare.
That's good.
That's a trap. That means a trap.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they do feel backed in the corner and trapped around this holiday season because you really have fear of man.
Yeah.
You are really stuck in people's approval and them validating or liking you. Everybody's not going to like you.
That's right.
Everybody's not going to like the
That's right.
decisions. So I think going into this holiday season, if we can have that type of expectation that I am monitoring my capacity
Yeah.
and it's okay to say no.
Yeah. And even when it comes to, because this leads me into my next point, this gift giving, all right?
Oh, this is good.
We need to make sure that, and this is how you get into the year and you're literally financially unstable. I would rather use that word than broke. But financially,
you still mentioned it.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure we're clear on what I'm saying, financially unstable. But we're getting there because we want to appease our children. And I think it's fine. Children, our moms, our dads, we want to give back. If you don't have it to give, we can't give back.
Right. No.
So
not
it's
this year.
about being realistic on what's happening in your household and freeing yourself from those pressures. Like you have to charge everything up. Like that gift giving really, I think, puts a damper on the holiday spirit. You've spent your last nickel. And again, the world will tell you that was good for you. You spent your last on your children. I don't think it's financially responsible. Just do it
Yeah,
on.
because you're giving beyond your ability.
There you go.
Where are you right now? Again,
Yeah.
going into this holiday season as an adult, as a parent, as a friend, as a sibling, as a maybe new auntie or uncle, where is your ability right now,
Yeah.
so that you can give from that. Hopefully you're giving from the surplus.
Yeah.
Like, you're not giving out of bill money.
Yes.
You're not, and then saying, well, you know what? This season is about giving. And so it's just better to give than to receive. Well, true. It is better to give than to receive, but you need to give from your ability. You may not be able to do that. It's the thought that counts. Can we get back to that?
And you know why? Because when I give from my bill money and you don't give the same caliber of
Oh,
gift,
this is where the problems come in.
now we're irritated because I've given from my bill money and you just
And
gave
all
me
they gave me was
X. I wouldn't have felt that way had I given from my surplus. I would have
That's so
just
true.
it would have been an even gift exchange. This is uneven and you just don't know that. So now it's like, well, I wonder why she's irritated. I gave her, whatever, but I'm irritated because I gave from bill money, you gave from surplus.
True.
So we want to make sure that's what equal gift giving is, but it's really just being authentic. And if you say,
I think that's the part we really want to hit
Yeah.
on is when you have a vision for your holiday season,
Yeah.
how can you be your most authentic self?
That's right.
So maybe we have to say some no to, what is it, the white elephant?
Yeah, white elephant parties,
Potlucks.
even at work, because they'll get you at work. They got you bringing gifts to work, and it's like, guys, I'm just trying to support my family. Now y'all got me bringing gifts to people I don't even like.
Yeah, right,
So it's
right,
like,
right.
mercy. So it's
Or,
like,
or maybe just try speaking up when
Yeah.
they're doing the brainstorming about this
Yeah.
instead of nodding.
also, my gift may not be financial, right? I got a gift of love for you guys, and I can package that thing up, right?
I've been saying it. One of my friends said that I'm just coming to feast on fellowship because I don't even want the expectation that I'm going to eat your food.
There you go. Because I'm
So,
not a potlucker. Yeah, it's not my thing.
When I tell you,
Yeah,
and really we talk about this often, it's about the preparation.
that's right.
And also the presentation.
Mhm.
So a lot of times people are like, I wonder why you didn't try my dish. Well, I'm looking at your presentation.
Your macaroni was wet.
Oh, God.
Okay. So it's a no for me. But
How
happy
do
Thanksgiving.
you get out of potlucks? So I have a strategy, but how do you get out
So
of them?
mostly I stick to I'm a holistic nutritionist, and that's a no. And no one really fights me on it because it's like, she is doing the holistic nutrition thing, so I know. Or most of the
Well,
time,
for those of us who are not holistic nutritionists and you really don't have a piece about eating other people's food, and that's okay because I think everybody has their
Yeah.
preference. I want to encourage you to serve.
Yeah.
And so that's my strategy. I serve at these events. I mean, everything from setup to I actually take people's food and say, you sit down, I'm serving you. Okay? And as you're moving around, I also bring a water bottle. And I'm
Amen.
constantly sipping. And again, I have the vision for that day to feast on fellowship.
yeah, that's right.
And I want
I
to.
love it. I love it. I think that's how you get out of it. But the last thing, and I think honestly maybe the most important, is
Yeah.
I want to talk about that end of the year anxiety.
Okay.
Or in that end of the year, beginning of the year, but really that end of the year when we start talking about vision boards and what we're manifesting for the new year.
Mhm.
The one thing I want to leave you guys with is ensure that nothing's wrong with the vision board. I think it's excellent to have vision.
Yeah, keep things before you.
Yeah. But please ensure that you include or regard God in your vision boards. Because when you do that, so let's just say, and this is my example, I've got a Lamborghini on there, I've got a new sports car, I've got a new home, I'm believing God for all the things, right? New job, all this. But, or vacations. I'm going to take more vacations this year. But in 25, God says, listen, I got you in a season of saving.
Right.
So for that whole year, I want you in a season of saving. That's going against your vision board. If I would have just connected through the relationship and said, hey, what do you have for me? What are you seeing for me in the first half of the year? I'm always making sure I'm connecting so that our desires are aligning.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always remembering that we're in partnership with him.
There you go.
Right. It's not just coming up with a whole lot of things and saying, all right, God bless this.
He becomes our Santa.
Right. It's being in partnership
Yeah.
with him
Yeah.
so that everything you do is blessed.
There
It
you
doesn't
go.
have to be blessed.
There
It
you go.
is blessed. It's on time, it's in season, it's the appointed time for you. And then you always understand that you're right there in that sweet spot because peace is accompanying that
Yeah.
throughout the entire year. You don't get to the end of the year, you're just like, I'm dealing with, that's what it is, unmet goals.
That's it.
By the end of the year,
And now I'm
this is all
devastated.
kind of coming up to the surface is man, I thought this was going to be my year.
To have my husband, to have my dream car, to have my home. I knew I was going to have a home, and here we are going into the new year. And you're now it's almost that anxiety. I'm frustrated. I'm angry.
The dating apps are revving up around this time because
Yeah.
it's like I want to end the year with a New Year's kiss.
Yeah.
You know, male or female, and
Yeah.
it's everybody relax.
Relax.
Take a
And
chill pill.
God, what do you have for me at the end of the year? We're even
Yeah.
regarding him in that. So what do you have for me at the end of the year? What vision am I supposed to be like casting for the new year?
Mhm.
And then that's fine. Put that on a collage. I love vision board parties. I think they're phenomenal. It's just doing it in its right context, which is everybody can come over and we're all going to seek the Lord on what we're putting on our vision board so that at the end of 25, we're not down in the dumps because what we didn't align with what he had for us.
Mhm.
We want to make sure we are in alignment with him so that we end the year strong and ready to go into the new year saying, God, we did it again
Mhm. And
together.
and you know, every year God doesn't have like a list of 50 things for you.
There you go.
Like, what happens if your year he only had 2 things for you to focus
That's
on?
what I was
And that was like
saying.
getting to work on time
Yeah.
and remaining thankful. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It may not be a poster board filled with things,
Yeah.
and that is okay.
Yeah.
So I think this helps at the end of the year when you're not only casting vision for the next, but also finishing strong in the now.
Yeah.
How do you properly finish strong in what you do have?
Yeah.
You know, this year is not over.
No.
What would you suggest to someone finishing strong?
So that's what I said. So it's that's what I said regarding God and guys, what are we doing closing the year out? What do you have for me to close this year out? I personally want to encourage you guys to make sure we're starting this now. We're not waiting till December 31st and
Yeah.
we're waking up on January 1st to start anything. It's right now. How do you want me to close that? Is there
Starting
somebody
on a Monday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Is there somebody you want me to minister to before this year is out? They may
Yeah.
not make it into what do you want for me to do? And it's really this is the time because the end of the year is when a lot of people start to go. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people pass away. Miles Monroe said that. He said, don't think it's strange that around November, December, because they weren't called to the next season. So it's like you could be ministering to people. So God, what do you have for me? And that's how I want you guys. We want to finish this year off strong.
Finish this year in love,
Focus
in
on-
joy,
yeah.
in focus.
Yes.
Finish this year strong.
Focus on what truly matters.
Focus on Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that's the end of it right there.
Yeah.